do in life counts, you know?
And then just work like hell. I mean, you just have to put in, 80 to 100 hour weeks every week.
Boys, it's all about discipline, bro. Find your way. Everybody's way is different. Find it. What works for you, bro? Because what works for me might not work for you. That's simple, bro. But please, bro, try to stay consistent. What I've told y'all with everything, God, consistency, and discipline. If you got those three things, you can do whatever you want, bro.
Remembered upon. I don't have to do this. And 2 weeks go by like that. And it'd be the same room. Or 2 weeks goes by, boom. And I have something that I'm proud of. That 2 weeks was spent. I invested 2 weeks. Didn't value the today, but I used it as an investment for later. I gave 2 weeks to something that lasts for years of enjoyment. As I'm sitting down, watching the TV, a new fucking fireplace and bookshelves and everything else, and that's right. Fuck yeah. I did that shit. That same ownership of pride, the positive confidence of the individual, taken in every endeavor, create something through the hard work. Everything you do in life counts. Equal and opposite forces, Newton's law, means that logically everything you do not do in life counts. Because inaction, in and of itself, is an action. Refusing to do something is not doing that thing. So if every single action you take in life counts and compounds, I would argue that every single action you do not take in life compounds.
See, do this eating, okay? Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it, okay? I've literally given you the full blueprint how to do this, okay? Get into it. It's not gonna come overnight. It's not gonna come in a week, not in 2 weeks, maybe not even 2 months. But when that third month hit and you have consistency and discipline, bro, you will look at yourself and you will go, I did it. Getting down the weight, looking good for everybody. No, like, I'm being so serious. I'm gonna be super strict on my diet. I'm not even gonna be an ounce off of it, but that's just me because I feel like I've been off discipline. So if I'm disciplined in something in life, you're gonna be disciplined in everything else in life too.
Most people sit back and they war game it forever. And this town of LA is full of these motherfuckers. Everyone with these dreams of what they're gonna do. All the talk, the gander, with no fucking action. Saying they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that, they're gonna do that. When do you start to do it, is my question. The value of life, the lessons of life, these building blocks happen with action, along the journey. Prior to starting the journey, you decide you're gonna do it for the right reasons, and then you get going. You get into it, and you figure it out along the way. You don't sit there at the starting block wargaming and wargaming and wargaming. Every single time you make a decision, you are taking action in one direction or the other. It is action to work, it is action to procrastinate. It is action to try, it is action to be lazy. There is no such thing as an action. It's just action positive, action negative. And they're all gonna add up. God will watch, as will the universe. And they'll look at your pile of positives and look at your pile of negatives, and they'll decide if you deserve just like me.
Only way for you guys to be able to feel that sort of fulfillment is if you're doing what you love. And just because you're doing what you love doesn't mean that there's not going to be hard days, doesn't mean that there's not going to be sad days and struggles and that you have to deal with, but that's the joy of it, is you're struggling to get to this dream version of you. You're struggling for a reward that you want instead of just struggling just to struggle.
We started with like 450 some people. By the time the sun came up, 160 were left. Why is that? Why did they quit so fast? Because the ideology of being a ranger is all they had. That was their driving force. That ideology is just words and thought process. It's not strong enough to combat all the wear and tear it's going to take to transform that person into being that elite person. They went into the arena hoping they wanted that title. They didn't understand the framework of what that title meant. If you understand what it means, you understand how valuable it is, how it's desired upon. Anything that's desired takes everything you have. So you accept that. To redo this again tomorrow. Day in and day out. We create the destiny. When I went to Ranger School, I said, yo, 70 days, I'm a prisoner. I'm a prisoner to this situation. I'm going through a sentence. That when I get through, I will be that person I want to be. But until I get through that, I'm not going to think about the comforts of life. What it's like to actually have sheets and a pillow. What it's like to have food cooked that's warm. What it's like to actually sleep. To have nutrition in your body. To take a shower.
Motivation's not real. Have you ever seen a lion motivated? Passion, motivation, no.
Of excellence. When you're a kid, you always want to be like this professional athlete or someone of importance, a doctor or stuff like that. You know, no one wants to be average. As we get older, it gets harder and harder, you know, and we start to sacrifice, you know, give up some of what we could be for the peace and tranquility of what is, as if today is so valuable. No, we invest today. We sacrifice today for tomorrow's betterment. We went up to New York, man, and you know,
consistent. One of the biggest ones on this list for sure. If we really look at it, I think if I was even more consistent, well, again, I'm not gonna say if, buts, and maybes, whatever it is, because everything happens for a reason. I'm here right now, I'm super happy, you know what I'm saying? And everything happens for a reason. I think be consistent for sure, but when I say consistent, I mean with everything though. Consistent can be, you set out a goal, you go to the gym twice a week for a whole year, right? If you go to the gym twice a week for then a whole year, you've been consistent with the gym. You see what I'm talking about? So for me, it's just being consistent with what I've put out for myself, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Is that gonna be hard for me to do? Yes, because I do slack a lot in that. I really do, and I'm knowing that already. But if I want to become who I want to become in the streaming world and as a person, I gotta be on top of everything. I gotta move as big as I really am. But yeah, be consistent, set out goals.
If you were hungry, you would probably do more positive actions than negatives, and you'd be surprised how easy it is to win. You know, the main reason I fucking hate all of you is because I didn't have to try that hard to win. It was hard, but it wasn't that hard, you know? It was a bit difficult, but it wasn't that hard. And it turns out most people just do not have any hunger inside of them. They've been placated.
In the situation. For me to think about them would only cause a demise and a weakness for the journey I'm in. I had to separate myself from them. I could not compare where I was to where I once was. I had to look forward saying, hey, I'm willing to sacrifice today for tomorrow's betterment. Knowing that going into it, when I hit all these adversities and all these walls, they weren't shocking to me. They were expected. And when they hit me, I welcomed them. Because I knew by going through them, it would change me to that person I wanted to be. Not the ideology of the person, but the materialistical value, the values internally, the blueprints of success there. I knew that these were all the workings, the ingredients of life for success. They were all little lessons that once mastered would be the lines that formulates the picture of the person I wanted to be. I had to go through them. I didn't want someone to give me something. I wanted to earn the motherfucker. So going into that arena, that endeavor, expecting that, set me up for success. Big difference there. If all I'm doing is hoping to get the goal, the journey will be impossible. You have to understand the goal, the value of the goal, why that is so special. And once you realize the value of it, then you don't mind putting the work to create it. I bring this video blog up right now in my living room. It's a fucking disaster if you look at this thing.